Welcome to the VE3MIS 2-meter repeater. The time is 7:56 p.m.
Good evening. This is Victor Echo 3, X-Ray Bravo Hotel. My name is Brian, and I'm your controller this evening for the Mississauga Amateur Radio Emergency Service Net. The purpose of this net is to pass Aries-related traffic and items of interest to the Aries group. When checking in, please announce your call sign using the phonetics followed by your first name. Before we commence any general check-ins, is there any emergency or priority traffic only? Come now, please. Nothing heard. Are there any general check-ins for the Mississauga Aries net? Please come now with your call sign and name.
Echo 3, Delta Romeo Zulu John.
Victor Alpha 3, Hotel Echo Sierra, Mark.
Okay, I heard two stations in there, VE3 Mark, and John, you're at the top of the list, VE3 DRZ. Go ahead, John.
Good evening, Brian and Mark. I guess we're a small group tonight. The nice weather has everybody out. We did get out this afternoon for a bit of a walk. I sure can't walk like I used to, but it was very nice to go out into that warm temperature. Nothing new here. Spent about an hour on the WPDX competition last weekend and worked a handful of stations, but nothing spectacular there. So we're pretty well in good shape here. Back to you, Brian. VE3DRZ.
VE3DRZ, VE3XBH. Well, John, good to hear from you. You got a good signal into the repeater tonight, so certainly no problems there. And yeah, the warm weather was nice. We put the chairs out the front, so we can now sit outside and enjoy the days when it's warm. Although I think we got a couple of cold days coming up, but all good. Good to hear that you got out and enjoyed some of that warm weather. John, thanks for checking in. Okay, with that, let's go to VE3HES. Mark, go ahead, Mark.
VE3XBH, good evening, Brian and John. Not too much to report. Enjoying the warmth. It's much appreciated on the old bones. And not too much, though. One thing of note, on Sunday I was able to finally get the UHF machine back up at the repeater site, and it's humming along, and we're connected on wires X. So, yeah, we're in good shape. We can finally start using that machine again. Otherwise, that's it. Back to you, Brian.
VE3HES, VE3XBH. First of all, good signal into the repeater, Mark. Good to hear you in tonight, and also good to hear that the UHF repeater is up. I did see the note about it, although I haven't tried it yet. So that'll be something I'll have to do. But it sounds like everything is working out quite well. So that's good. Mark, thanks for checking in. Okay, and with that, we're at the bottom of the list. It was a pretty short list. Is there anyone else that would like to check into the Mississauga Aries net? Please come now.
Victor Alpha 3 Golf Delta Zulu.
Victor Alpha 3 Golf Delta Zulu, come on in.
Hi there, Brian. It's Gary from the west end of Toronto. Just wanted to check in to say hi. It's my turn to run the 8:30 net tonight, so I'm gearing up for that. I see that Mark, who I just heard on the air there, he's got the YouTube running again. So I'm assuming that I can tell people that if they want to listen to how well their signal's coming in, they can go and they can replay it at any time. I assume that's working. Other than that, not too much other than patiently waiting for some vaccine to come down to our age group. And, a lot of people I talk to are getting it. And I asked them, okay, now that you got it, what can you do with it? Because things are still pretty locked down and not much is opening up. It's going to take a couple months, I think, regardless. Anyways, back to you there, Brian. This is Victor Alpha 3 Golf Delta Zulu, Gary.
VE3GDZ, VE3XBH. Okay, Gary. Well, good to hear from you. And I did get your emails, but by the time I got them, you'd got everything sorted out. So that was good. But I did see them in there, and yeah, waiting for the vaccines. It's and then once you get it, what do you do with it? Well, I don't think there's an awful lot more that you can do. I mean, it certainly takes a certain amount of time for the body to build up the antibodies, and even then, you can still, although you may not get it, you may be able to pass it on to somebody else. So I think we're going to be in this situation for quite a little while yet. At least until enough people have been vaccinated and enough time has passed after. So it's good that the vaccines becoming available, but I think people sort of get the idea that, oh, I get a shot and now I'm home free, I can do anything.
That's actually what I'm afraid of. There's some guidance coming out of the CDC because, well, they're ahead of us, that's for sure down there, or they think they are at least in the United States. And yeah, there's not much guidance on that. You know, you got to wait a couple weeks after, but you've had only one shot, and your next one is scheduled for July. I know a lot of people who are telling me that. What do you do in the meantime? If you have to wait until July before you can hug your kids or get together with people inside your house, who knows? I did have a quick question for Mark if he's still listening. I'm assuming that the YouTube videos are saved for a little while so that people can always replay them and go back to when they were on the net and check their signal and check what they sound like. Maybe you could pass that on to Mark for me. If you could just confirm that, I'd appreciate it. VE3 Golf Delta Zulu.
VE3HES, Mark, did you hear that?
Yes, I did. Sorry, I was on the other side of the shack here. Yes, Gary, the videos are in the VHF NET live stream playlist on the YouTube channel, and they're there forever. I figured I'd keep them up for posterity's sake. I may, as we move forward, per year, archive them and you know, do like a 2021 and then so on and so forth. But yep, they're there for anybody to go back and give a listen. Back to you, Brian.
Okay, Mark, thanks for that info. I'll just pass it back to Gary. You got that okay, Gary?
Yes, I did, but forever is a long time. Hi. Well, you better get copyright on those or something there, Mark. Actually, if you wanted to see another club that does this, and they show a picture of the guy talking on the radio while he's doing the net, which is even more embarrassing. Type in VE3OSH, and you'll probably see some of their net, their rag shoes, and the guy's actually got the guts to show his face while he's talking on the radio and running the net, and they were live streamed for quite a while. Okay, thank you for that, Brian. I'll pass it back to you. This is VE3 Golf Delta Zulu.
Okay, Gary. Well, that sounds interesting, being able to see. That means you have to get dressed when you do the net, and I don't know. And if Mark copyrights it, we may have to have a discussion about royalties there. What do you think, Mark?
Hi. Yeah, we'll have to come up with a fair split for the royalties. Maybe we'll turn it into a reality show. Hi. But actually, Brian, I do have a question for you. Would it be possible to get a schedule of who's net controller when? Because I normally have to wait to hear who it is to change credits on the live stream. And you know what? Maybe if I get a mug shot of all of you, I can always stick a little thumbnail of your face up onto the right-hand side of the screen above the club logo. Back to you, Brian.
Yeah, that would be actually that would be great, Mark. I think Brian AZA would be the one. He's the one who puts the schedule together. I don't have a list of the schedule. I just when we talked about it, I just know that I'm the second week of the month is my week. So. That's good, and I think that's probably how pretty much everybody does it. But what I'd suggest is if you send an email to Brian, he can probably send you a schedule.
Roger, will do. Thank you, Brian.
Okay, thanks, Mark, and thanks, Gary, for checking in. Always good to hear from you. And we're at the bottom of the list. Is there anyone else that'd like to check into the Mississauga AresNet? Come now, please.
This is Victor Alpha 3, Echo Oscar Nancy. Alpha 3, Echo Oscar November.
At Victor Echo 3, Echo, and I didn't get the middle letter, Echo Nancy.
Victor Alpha 3, Echo Oscar November. Victor Alpha 3, Echo Oscar Nancy.
Okay, I'm sorry, I still didn't get the, I got Victor Echo 3, Echo something, November. Do you want to try it again? I think it's Victor Echo 3, Echo, and then question mark November.
This is Victor Alpha 3, Echo Oscar Nancy. Victor Alpha 3, Echo Oscar Nancy. Victor Alpha 3, Echo Oscar Nancy.
Roger, got it that time. Victor Alpha 3, Echo Oscar November. Got you in there. Come on in, and can I get your name, please?
Yeah, this is Mario. I was trying with 50 watts. Didn't work, but for some reason 10 watts work better.
Good evening, Mario. Sorry, I didn't recognize your voice. That's strange. So you're on 10 watts right now?
Yeah, I'm on medium, which is 10 watts on Kenwood TM V71. So looks like 10 watts works better. I was originally wondering if it's because I changed the antenna. I used 3B gain vertical antenna, but now I switched to discon antenna, which has a lower gain but wider band. And so I thought you're not getting me because of the antenna, but I just it was wild guess to change to 10 watts. It works. Back to you.
Mario, 10 watts, you're getting into the repeater, no problem. I tried you on direct, and I can tell that you've keyed up in the noise, but that's it. Nothing that I could copy in direct, but as far as hitting the repeater, you're doing a fine job.
Oh, excellent. I'm glad that it works, because I plan to use it on my new transverter VHF UHF that I would use with the Flex radio. So Flex is for HF, and I will now have visual access to VHF UHF, and I'm trying to get the TNC running with a software modem. I found some software, but still not working. But anyway, just a short update. Back to you, VE3EON.
VE3EON, VE3XPH. Oh, that sounds good, Mario. Yeah, I find sometimes the software TNCs are a little finicky, and you gotta kind of play with some of the settings in there. I know that the first one that I used, I had a lot of problems setting it up.
It's something new. I used to have a TNC way back in the 90s, and it was on Linux and worked perfectly fine. It's just hardware box and PC-AT with 8 megs speed and 1 megabyte of RAM. Worked perfectly fine, but again, I'm trying to do it all software only, but looks like nobody is developing anything like that. I found something, but it's not really complete.
I've been using the, what is it, the UZHO, I think it is, sound modem, and it seems to work fairly well for me.
I built one 2 years ago from Fox Delta kit for $80. I got response on COM interface, but I never managed to work with this. I tried to plug in to Kenwood that has natively support for that. Just plug in a serial interface, and the other port is for audio, and it should work fine. It's just pre-built for TNC and for Echolink, but for some reason this never worked out, and there's no detailed manual, just something basic, so I quit on that. And which, I mean, ideally it would be good to buy a pack store box for $1,000, but I'm not going to spend this kind of money. But it will be good because you could do emailing over HF, VHF, WinLink, and TNC, and all kind of things reliably and stable. But that's not for us cheap ham radios. Back to you, VE3ON.
VE3ON, VE3X stage. Well, you know, it really depends upon how much you're going to use it and whether it's worthwhile spending the money on it. But like I say, I've been using this and it works fairly well for me, and I use it with WinLink, and not too bad. The only thing that I tend to find is when I get an update from Windows, it usually makes a mess of my default settings. So I usually have to go back in and redo the defaults. But other than that, it seems to work okay.
Oh, for the WinLink and HF email, I built one box. I just bought something for $10, which has 4 optocouplers, and I just plug in everything on Kenwood TNS 590 SG, and there's one optocoupler is for DTS, RTS, and then for data number 3. So it works fine for RTTY and works fine for HF emailing. I was trying to email over one guy in the US and work perfectly fine. So this interface is okay for that, but not for TNC. TNC requires something like that I had in the old one, Z80 CPU, 8-bit at least, to process all this info. Back to you.
Okay, I understand now. Yeah, I've never tried doing it on HF. I did try and once to interface it with my Yaesu, but I didn't get too far, and I kind of gave up. I probably, if I spent more time on it, could probably get it up and running. But I just sort of thought, well, I was just had something that kept me occupied for one afternoon. So there we go.
It's all about that. So experimenting and enjoying time building stuff, and spend hours and weeks to see it working.
Absolutely, Mario. Okay, I'm going to make another call and see. I want to get out of here just before the club net starts. So Mario, thanks for checking in with us, and let's make one last call and see if there's any other check-ins for the Mississauga Aries net. Come now, please.
Victor Echo 3 Tango Kilowatt India, Michael.
Okay, I heard 2 stations in there. I heard Michael, VE3 TKI, and another station in there. You were pretty weak, but can you try it again? I'll see if I can get you.
Alpha 3, Bravo Delta Yankee, Barlow.
Yeah, I think it was VE3 Bravo Delta Yankee, Barlow. Okay, we'll go to Michael, VE3 TKI. Come on in, Michael.
And everybody else, just thought I'd check in, say hi. Nothing particular going on. Still fiddling around with the logging program, Log4OM, and fiddling around with my oscilloscope, learning a few things, so having fun anyway. Beautiful day today. Okay, back to you, Brian, VE3 TKI.
Okay, Michael, VE3 TKI, VE3 XPH. Good signal into the repeater, Michael. Certainly no problem copying you there. So thanks again for checking in. And with that, let's go to VE3 BDY, Barlow. Go ahead, please.
Hello, everyone on the net. Just nothing really to report from that. Just going through and setting up more radios. So hope everyone's doing well. Other than that, not much to say. Back to you.
VE3 BDY, VE3 XPH. Okay, Barlow. Well, sounds good. You're a little noisy into the repeater, but I could still copy you. So certainly no problems. No problems there. So thanks again for checking in. Okay, we'll make one last call. Anybody else who'd like to check in last minute for the Mississauga Aries net? Come now, please. Okay, nothing heard. So I'll close the net for this evening. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. This is Victor Echo 3, X-Ray Bravo Hotel, closing the net and returning the repeater to normal use. The Mississauga Amateur Radio Club net will be starting in about 6 minutes or so. So you're welcome to check into that. And right now I will say 7-3. So this is VE3 XBH closing the net. And stay safe, everyone.
Link DECHLINK conference.
Yeah, good evening. It's 4 minutes until the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club. This is Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu. The name's Gary. I'm going to be the net controller for the Mississauga Club this evening. Does anyone want to do an early check-in?
VE3MIS.
This be in and out, Gary. Thanks very much. VK HJQ.
Yeah, I heard you there, John. I'm getting a repeat back on my Echo Link connection. Any explanation for that? I hear you like twice, or I come in a little bit later.
Oh, probably, two of me is better than one. I have no idea.
Now, let's just connect it to the test server, and then it would bring us in too, and we would hear it.
Yeah, I heard you in there, Kevin. I think I've got it solved now. I've got input coming in on YouTube, as well as RF, as well as Echo Link. I assume my audio is okay. Back to you, VA3KKY.
Yeah, you especially I'm paying attention to, because you've been trying to call me and you have a hard time connecting because I think you're calling on your phone and you can't call individual nodes. You can only stay on conferences and repeaters. I don't know if you were aware of that, but I've seen some failed attempts when you called my node a few times. And yeah, I just said that what you described just a minute ago sounds like the conference, the test server, but then we would have heard it too.
Yeah, okay, Kevin. We'll have to talk about how to connect one-on-one with Echo Link some other time, because I've got to start the net here in a few seconds. Stand by. Good evening. This is Victor Alpha 3 Golf Delta Zulu. My name is Gary, and I'm your net controller tonight for the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net. The net's available in the club's VHF repeater and also on Echo Link, starting right now at 20:30 hours Eastern Daylight Time, or 00:30 UTC. It's expected to last about an hour, with a bit of a contingency on the end depending on the number of check-ins. If you want to participate on the net locally, you can do so on the VE3MIS VHF repeater here in Mississauga. You tune to 145.430 megahertz, has a negative 600 kilohertz offset, and a 103.5 tone. To participate on Echo Link, connect to the TechLink conference, node number 9229, or one of the conferences that is connected to TechLink. I'd personally like to thank the organizers of the Australia Ham Conference and those of the Dewdrop Conference for linking with us and bringing with them all their many links to this net. We really value the participation from those outside of our region highly, and after dealing with some club announcements and the check-ins, we hope hams from far and wide will stay with us. This may mean you have to leave a couple seconds space for all the links to connect. We're also streaming on YouTube. If someone wants to listen to it, you just go to YouTube and do a search for VE3MIS, and you'll see the live stream there. It's kind of neat because after you've checked in and had your say, you can go back and listen to yourself. It's saved up on YouTube, and you can replay it and see how you sound on the radio. Please stand by. If you'd like to find out more about the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club, visit our website at www.marc.onca. That's Mike Alpha Romeo, Charlie, Oscar.November.Charlie Alpha. The club's email address is VE3MIS@RAC.com. Victor Echo 3, Mike India Sierra @Romeo Alpha Charlie .Charlie Alpha. My email's on my QRZ page. This is Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu, and my name is Gary, Golf Alpha Romeo Yankee. The purpose of this net is to share news and views with club members and visitors alike. It also provides experience to volunteer operators in net and emergency procedures. All check-ins are welcome, and we especially invite non-members to join in, and we value international participation highly. Please stand by. We'll be giving everyone a chance in the first round. If the time permits, there'll be a chance for people to either comment on what they heard or say 7-3s. We'll have to see how it goes. Short time check-ins, either urgent or mobile, will be called first, and then general check-ins will follow. And I'll alternate between RF users and Echolink users. Please listen carefully for the group that best matches your circumstances. So the plan for tonight is a few club announcements. I'll record the check-ins by type, and then you can share any news or activities in your area, or you can take a crack at the question of the day. And there'll be an optional comment round at the end, so you can comment on what people have said, or just say 7-3s. First, let me handle a few items of club news. I'd like the Echolink stations. Thank you for your patience while we get through this. The club meets virtually via Zoom conferencing on the second and third Thursday of each month. Our general meetings emphasize comradeship and learning and are open to guests and visitors. There's a club executive meeting this Thursday, April 1st, and a general meeting on Thursday, April 8th. See our website to learn how to join the virtual meetings. In other club news, our club's system fusion repeater on UHF is now operational with internet connectivity for those using C4 FM digital. If you're going local, you can only reach it on analog. You can also reach it on analog FM. Please stand by. The UHF repeater is at 444.575 megahertz plus 5 megahertz offset, tone 103.5. The information's on our website. Secondly, in club news, there's a 2-meter single sideband net on Fridays. Look for VE3MIS on 144.222 megahertz at 8 p.m. if you have the equipment to do so in our local area. That's 144.222 at 8 p.m. this Friday for 2-meter sideband. You can email for any more details to VE3MIS@RAC.ca or just visit our website at VE3MIS.ca. Please stand by. Just mention a couple other nets on this repeater. There's a Cross Canada IRLP net every Wednesday from 11 till noon, and it's on VE3MIS IRLP 9013. Friday night is the TechLink conference hosted by Reg from Australia. That's the one we're on right now. Reg had his 1,000th show about a week and a half ago. I was privileged to be able to check in to congratulate him. I hope we hear from you tonight, Reg, but it was amazing that you did it 1,000 times. I think this is my 3rd, so I got a bit of catching up to do. The TechLink, Friday night TechLink conference is every Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's on VE3MIS and also on Echolink this conference. Please stand by. Okay, I'm getting ready to take the check-ins, but before I do, I want to explain to any of those who are connecting from outside of our local region on Echolink, I want to explain that Mississauga in the province of Ontario is the 6th largest municipality in Canada. We're the western neighbor of Toronto, Canada's largest city, in the center of the Golden Horseshoe, which is a large urban and industrial region of 8 million people, spanning much of the northern and western shore of Lake Ontario, westerly all the way down to Niagara Falls. So the net not only spans this region by radio,
but we are coming in on internet via Echolink and also on YouTube, as previously mentioned. Give it a try if you want to hear how you sound on the radio. Please stand by. Okay, check-in protocol. Please announce your call sign using phonetics followed by your first name. I'll be calling them in 4 groups: any emergency or high-profile, high-priority traffic, local RF, and Echolink. Please check in with the group that matches your circumstances. A reminder that if we have time, we'll try for a second round where you can comment on what you've heard. Echolink and RF will be called separately to reduce the risk of doubling. Please leave a bit of a gap, and please try not to transmit for more than about 1 minute to prevent system timeout, and also to allow others to have their turn. You can actually say quite a bit in a minute, and hopefully comment at the end on something that you've heard. Please stand by. Okay, before I announce the question of the day, I think I'll announce it now before starting the check-in. So I like to have a question of the day because it's better than just having a person give their call sign and say no traffic. We do want to hear what's new for you in your area, in your community. But I was going to throw out a question of the day I'd like people to take a crack at. So here it is. It's been a year now since the pandemic was announced by the World Health Organization and lockdowns have been in place. However, radio has been a godsend for some during this time when we lack personal connection, but the lockdowns also affected people getting together, and it's also affected equipment availability and affected things to talk about because you're locked down. So here's the question. I'll let it drop for a sec first. My question to the group today is, has the pandemic period over the past year changed amateur radio for the better or the worse, or not really at all? We want to hear your experience and what may change when we go back to normal. That's the question of the day. Okay, so I'll start taking check-ins. Do we have any emergency or high priority traffic coming in, please? None heard. Anyone mobile who may not be able to stay with us for long?
Bravo, Romeo Yankee Lima, QTH, Bangkok, Thailand, over.
Okay, thank you. I got RYL from Bangkok, Thailand. I'll get to you in a minute. I have to get through some local people first. This is Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu. The name is Gary. Thank you for coming in. I've got you on the list. Please stand by. Any local stations who are mobile? Okay, I'll take some RF check-ins from the local group, and then I'll get to those of you on Echolink as soon as we can. Can I have local stations, starting with call sign and name, please? Take your time. I've got my pen ready.
Vita Alpha 3,จาก Hotel Bravo Romeo Yankee Lima, QTH, Bangkok, Thailand, over.
Victor Alpha 3, Hotel Echo Sierra, Mark.
In local check-ins, you're connected by Echolink to Mississauga, Ontario. We're into a net just starting now, so if you could please wait, we'll get back to you. Any other local check-ins coming in on RF today, please?
Thailand, Bangkok.
He doesn't seem to want to listen. Okay, let's take some Echolink check-ins. Echolink, go ahead, please.
ครับอยากจะสนทนาอยู่จะฟังไม่ออกเนาะ Good morning อยากจะสนทนาอยู่แต่คุณไม่ได้ครับผมอยู่ไทยแลนด์
Victor Alpha 3 Alpha Hotel VA3AH checking in.
VK2DY. VE3MIS repeater.
Taking Echo Link check-in.
On Echo Link, VK6BQQ, red here in Western Australia.
VA3 KKY. I forget if I'm on the list or not, but I guess it's put me where I belong.
Okay, I'll go back to RF. Anybody coming in on radio to the VE3MIS repeater, go ahead, please.
Victor Echo 3, X-Ray Bravo Hotel, Brian.
Victor Alpha 3, Alpha Zulu Alpha, Brian.
Victor Alpha 3, Hotel Echo Sierra, Mark.
Okay, we'll take a pause there. I'll read back what I have so far. I've got Kevin, VA3KKY. I've got John, VK3, I guess it is, HJQ. I've got RYL from Bangkok. I hope he's still listening. VA3, oh geez, I didn't get that one. Let's try that again. VA3AH, VK2DY, VK6BQQ, VE3XBH, Brian, VA3AZA, Brian, and VA3HES, Mark. Okay, did I miss anyone? Start with Echo Link. Did anyone on Echo Link that I missed, please? Okay, nothing heard. Anyone on RF that I missed, please? Anyone on RF want to check into the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net?
Victor Echo 3, Tango Golf Lima.
Okay, I got you in there, Tango Golf Lima. Didn't get a name yet, but I'll get to you on the list. Why don't we go through the list and we'll open it up for some more check-ins later. Okay, so Kevin, you're first on the list, VE3KKY. You're in Toronto, I know that. You heard my spiel. Anything new? And also, could you take a crack at the question of the day? Has the pandemic period over the past year changed amateur radio for better or for worse or not at all? What's your opinion? Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, let me think about it in terms of maybe RF or something, because that's the part I would want to observe. It used to be repeaters were dead. Every repeater used to link onto. It's one of the reasons, honestly, I don't even care that my station's crashed. I almost don't even care if it comes back or not, because it was just pathetic, you know. It used to be so hard to raise somebody on any of the bands and all of that. And now it's all about just nets and knowing where to tune to. And if you do that, you have tons of communication and tons of contacts. So that's very important. That's funny. I used to kind of not hate nets, but sometimes I used to kind of tire of them. Now, they're so important to meet people, and the pandemic maybe has emphasized that because people have come to the table with further ideas about nets and also have brought on topics and other things with nets, right? Like, for instance, people use, like Reggie's here, people use the TechNet a lot more different than they might have used to. I don't really know quite how to break that down, but anyone who follows knows. It's a different tip, and people are more apt to coming in with issues and topics and things that maybe they didn't before. So, interesting stuff. Also, I've rehearsed my answer about, like, if the pandemic has changed me in general. No. I mean, I'm a homebody. I like hanging out at the house. So, for me, it's cool. And I hate the mask thing, so my answer for it is to, like, not go out. That's, like, my answer. That's my brilliant idea. It's one of those things, it's so crazy, it just might work. So, that's kind of my approach. And I don't know if, I don't know if other people, other shut-ins feel that way. I feel that way. I'm cool with it. Keep this going for the next 20 years, and I'll just have skip the dishes or something, do all my grocery shopping, and never see the light of day like a prisoner. I'm cool with that. I'm down with that. Hermit Kevin's in the house. Okay, back to net, and I'm here. VA3, KKY, please keep me on the list.
Vita 3, Kilo Vita. Vita Alpha 3, Kilo Vita.จากโฮเทลเจราโฟโรมิโอแยงเกริมาแบงคอกไทยแลนด์MCU Thailand Bangkok.
See, I've got it on my VK3HJQ. Do you happen to be there, John? I know you guys have got a lot of nets and whatever. Have you found a change for better or for worse during the pandemic period in the past year? Over to you, John.
Yeah, thanks, Gary from VK3HJQ. I was just going to be in and out, but doing some paperwork here. Well, obviously it's increased as all the hams get to stay home and play radio. So over here in Australia, there's been a stack more activity on amateur radio with people being locked up. So definitely an increase there. Gary, over.
Yeah, okay. I know you guys have certainly been busy, and maybe if you're still there the next round, you can tell us if you think it will continue once things get more or less back to normal, hopefully when we all get these vaccines. Okay, thank you for that, John. I know you're busy. HS4RYL from Bangkok. I hope you've heard the question. Thank you for coming in from Bangkok to our net here in central Ontario. Do you think the pandemic has been beneficial to the radio hobby, or has it been a bit of a negative? Back to you. No response right now, but I see him on Echolink listening. We'll try you a bit later there. Thank you for Bangkok. DA3AH, I didn't get a name when you checked in, so if you could give us your name and your location. And do you think the pandemic period has changed amateur radio for the better or worse, or not really at all? Back to you.
Victor Alpha 3 Alpha Hotel, name is Alan, Alpha Lima Alpha November, and I'm in LaSalle, Ontario. Lima Alpha Sierra Alpha Lima Echo, just south of the city of Windsor, which is located, where everybody should know, right across from Detroit, Michigan. I don't think it's changed ham radio much. If you're not active, you're not active. It doesn't make any difference if there's a pandemic going on or not. It has changed my life. I'm an avid shooter, target shooter, and don't get to go with the people that I shoot all the time with. So now I go to the range by myself and shoot twice a week. So other than that, we don't have anything more for the net. I appreciate you allowing us in. You have a good week coming up, and God bless. Oh, there's going to snow on Thursday, so keep that in mind. 7-3. God bless. Victor Alpha 3 Alpha Hotel, returning to net control.
Well, thank you there, Alan, for checking in. Hey, none of that S word around here. We're into springtime. Spring's the only S word we're allowed. Besides, you're down in the banana belt there, down in Windsor. You're always a couple degrees warmer than us here in Toronto. Okay, I'll put you down for, I guess, no change overall is what your opinion is. So listen to what the others have to say, and hopefully we'll have time for a second round, and you can comment on that or say 7-3. Okay, I'll move on to VK2DY. Robert, you always have interesting news. How are things going in your floods recovery? And if you want, take a crack at the question. In your opinion, has the pandemic period changed amateur radio for the better or worse, or not really at all? Over to you, Robert, VK2DY.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Robert, Victor Kilo 2 Delta Yankee in Kellyville Ridge, New South Wales, but all part of the urban sprawl that is Sydney. 21.8 degrees. A few clouds have appeared, but it's basically a bright blue, clear sky. We're probably going to hit 23, 24 Celsius before the day is through. Starting to cool off, though. Last night was actually cold. It was down to 13 Celsius. So autumn is definitely taking hold here. Well, the floods, it's been a week since it's rained, so everything has receded, but of course the cleanup's going to take a long time. It's going to take many months to clean up from some of the flood areas that have been here. So it's going to be with us for a while. As far as COVID is concerned, we had a couple of cases, well, several cases up in Queensland. They brought a few cases down into northern New South Wales, but the rest of New South Wales, including Sydney, there's very, very few restrictions. In fact, they're going ahead with their Royal Easter show starting tomorrow, and going to allow 60,000 people on the grounds. So that's probably the largest event we've had in a good year and a half. Royal Easter Show is like a U.S. State Fair, I guess. That's about the closest equivalent to it. And that's going forward. Other than that, I would say it has changed ham radio. I'm hoping that it's for good, because I'm not able to attend a lot of activities, and being able to meet with Zoom or YouTube or Jitsi or any of the other services out there really makes it nice. It takes me an hour to get to the closest club here, but I can flick on their meeting in 30 seconds. So hopefully it does continue, because I like the ability to get on without having to drive places. VK2DY, back to...
Well, thank you very much there, Robert. You always have a lot to say and to share with us, even without the question of the day. Very interesting. I'm taking your answer to be yes, it's positive, and you appreciate having the virtual connections without all the travel and whatever. Very good point. I'm going to ask you whether that's going to continue in the future, if you can stick with us for the second round or not. But let's move on down the list. VK6, BQQ, Reg. There's a busy guy on the various nets, and he's been there for almost 20 years, if I can multiply correctly, with his 1,000 weekly nets. So, Reg, compared to the past few years, how has the pandemic year been for amateur radio? Better or worse, or not really much change? And what do you think is going to happen going forward? Over to you, Reg. This is Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu, Gary in
VA3 Golf Delta Zulu from VK6BQQ. Well, definitely things have changed for the better as far as I can see. I know for our nets we get at least 3 to 4 new call signs in, and folks that have came back to the hobby after a long period of time doing else. But no, it's definitely improved, and we do appreciate it. And of course, all the folks that check in on our Friday night TechNet. Well, I get pages and pages of call signs, so as far as I'm concerned, it's on the move, and with all the various things that are happening in the amateur world, why, I see it carrying on. So that's my thought. VK60QQ, good morning from West Australia.
Well, thanks. That's bang on, Reg, what I was hoping to hear, one way or another. And you're a definite positive. You've seen an uptick in activities, more people calling in, if I've summarized your input. Well, thank you very much for that, Reg. And again, 1,000 nets, an amazing accomplishment. I was really happy to get in on that night. Okay, let's get a few of our local guys here. Brian, VE3XDH. Anything new? Since I talked to you half an hour ago. Hi. And do you want to take a crack at the question of the day? In your opinion, has the pandemic period changed amateur radio for the better or worse or not at all? Go ahead, Brian.
VA3GDZ VE3XDH. Good evening, Gary, and everybody on net. Hope everybody's well. Yeah, not much has gone on in the last 15, 20 minutes, half an hour or so. It's been pretty quiet in my neck of the woods. We enjoyed some nice weather today, so that's really about all that's been going on. As far as the question about have things changed with the pandemic, in my experience with some of the nets and that sort of thing, I wouldn't say that the volume of callers or check-ins have changed an awful lot, but certainly it seems to be newer call signs that we haven't heard. So maybe people are rediscovering the hobby, or just spending a little bit more time, or maybe I'm just happen to be lucky at that time. But that's sort of been my experience, Gary. So I'll send it back to you, and we'll be listening along. VA3GDZ from the VE3XBH.
Yeah, thank you there, Brian. It sounds like, I don't know if I'm reading between the lines, you don't think there's really been that much change. Unlike many other parts of our lives which were disrupted, you think that the radio has pretty much been fairly steady through this pandemic period. You can correct me in the next round if I misinterpreted. Let's hear what Brian, VA3AZA, has to say. What's new there, Brian? And if you want to take a crack at the question of the day, has the pandemic period changed amateur radio for the better, or the worse, or the same?
VA3GDZ, VA3AZA. And Gary, good to hear you. Thank you very much, Gary, for taking the net tonight. Pleasure to hear you, as usual. And, not too much is new with me. I've been playing with this System Fusion repeater. I've been using an HT, and sort of bringing it with me in the car. That's been fun. And as to the question, I think yes. I think it's had a beneficial effect on ham radio. I mean, perversely, the pandemic has had a beneficial effect, I guess. If I'm just thinking of the numbers for club meetings and such, they do seem to be up because of the virtual access, and at least that's my take on it. I'm sure there are other factors too. Some things, I guess, there's more trouble for things like Club Station, where people are there typically in person, but have to weigh that against it too. Probably overall, it's been a little bit beneficial. Anyway, over to you. VA3A today, over to VA3GDZ.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Modestly beneficial. Okay. I think in the second round, again, I'm going to ask you going forward when we're not locked down, Is it going to go back to the way it was, or has there been an improvement because of new hams coming in and things like that? And yeah, your Fusion repeater, you can talk to this next fellow, Mark, VA3 HES, and Mark's also got the YouTube link running as well. Go ahead there, Mark. This is VA3 Golf Delta Zulu, Gary.
Thank you, Gary. Good evening all on net and listening on Echolink from far, far away. I'll answer the question first. I'm going to say that the pandemic has, I guess its silver lining is it's allowed people like me that have been putting off getting their ham license for decades. It's given me the opportunity to take the course and write my tests and get my basic with honors and get on the air. I think it has been beneficial for getting hams who haven't touched the radio in ages to get back on the air, and for a lot of I've talked to a lot of young hams that have embraced this time to get their license. I'm glad to hear Brian AZA that you're getting on the Fusion machine, and I'll just remind everybody it's 444.575. The machine is running in auto mode, so you can key up and talk on it in analog, but you will need a C4 FM capable radio to take advantage of Wires X. Otherwise, that's it for now, Gary, and back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Yeah, I can certainly understand that because my situation is similar, but let me get through the rest here. I'm going to open it up for more check-ins in a moment. We have one more on my list. VE3 Tango Golf Lima. Can we get your first name and location? And what's new in your area? And do you want to take a crack at the question of the day? Has the pandemic period over the past year changed amateur radio for better or for worse? Go TGL.
V3, I forgot your call sign. BGD, was it? Okay, never mind. I'll just call you Net Control. Okay, Net Control, this is V3 Tango Golf Lima. Handle here is Uwe, Uniform Whiskey Echo. And, yeah, just checking in here from South Etobicoke. Coming in through the RF side, I guess. And as for your question, I don't know. Could be a double-edged sword. Yeah, there's more people out there. I was on a bit of a hiatus myself, maybe 10 years or so. But I don't really think COVID brought me back into the radio because COVID didn't really affect me all that much. Pretty much working every day except for the weather, so because I work outside. So, but anyways, it's a double-edged sword because there's lots of new people, which is good, but it also brings out the nefarious people, which is not so good. But all in all, I think it's a good thing, and there's a lot of fun to be had, and things are looking up, and I hope it sticks around. E3 TGL, back to Net Control, 73.
Okay, thank you there, Uwe, for coming in. Sort of a neutral opinion, I think, is what you're saying in your view. Okay, I'm going to open up to any other check-ins. Let's go to Echolink first. Anybody coming in on Echolink to the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club wants to check in, please do so now.
Kilo Mike 4, Oscar Charlie. My name is Mike and I'm in North Dakota.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Echo Mike Zulu. My name is Jamie, North Dakota.
Okay, thank you. I've got Mike and Jamie. Anybody coming in on radio, on RF, into the Mississauga repeater would like to check in?
Victor Echo 3 Whiskey Bravo Foxtrot. Name is Barry. Over.
My name is Phil, B3QWE from Southern Mississauga.
Victor Echo 3, Mike Sierra Charlie, Colin in Milton, Ontario.
Three, Bravo Delta Yankee, Barlow.
Okay, let's see, I've got Jamie and Barry. Phil, didn't get the first part of your call sign. I think it was QYE at the end. I got Colin and Barlow. Anybody else want to check into the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net?
Victor Alpha 3, Quebec Whiskey Echo. My name is Phil from Southern Mississauga.
Okay, I got you that time, Phil. Thanks for coming back to me. Okay, we'll let these, the last few check-ins, we'll let them take a crack at saying hello, tell us what's new in your area, and if you would like, you can try the question of the day. The question of the day is, has the pandemic period over the past year changed amateur radio for better or for worse, or not at all? So Mike, KM4OOC, I may have butchered your call sign, but I'll give it a try. Over to you, Mike.
Thank you, sir, and good evening, everybody. KM4OOC, Mike here in northwest North Dakota. I'm about 8 miles south of the Saskatchewan border and 55 miles east of the Montana state line. We had a blizzard here on the northwest prairie last night with 50 and 60 mile an hour winds. You never know what's going to happen on the prairie with the weather. Still pretty cold, about 17 and windy, but a couple of days from now it's supposed to be in the 60s and a beautiful weekend coming up in the 60s, so we're looking forward to that. Has the virus changed ham radio? Yeah, it sure has. I was hoping this would be the one place that we'd be able to come and not have to hear about it. But that didn't come to fruition. Not much else going on around here, just hitting some nets. And I knew about this one, but I actually forgot about it. Somebody posted it on Facebook. So I thought, yeah, man, I got to get back over and jump into that net and say hello. And hello to my friend Reg there down under, and John, always nice to see you, my friend. And I hope everybody had a good day, and I'll be listening here on the net for a bit. KM4OOC, back to net control.
Well, thank you very much there, Mike, for joining us from North Dakota. You can keep the blizzard. That's okay. And if you stay with us for the second round, I think we're going to have time for a short 7-3 round soon. Let us know. You did say it changed, but it wasn't quite clear whether it was for the better or for the worse. How about Jamie, KF0EMZ, I believe that was. Jamie, over to you. This is Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu, Gary in the west end of Toronto.
That was Kilo Foxtrot, Echo Mike Zulu, again in central North Dakota. We didn't get the snow they got out west, thankfully, but we got all the wind, maybe not quite as bad as theirs, but I'm new to ham. I just completed my technician maybe about a week and a half ago. So it's something I've been wanting to do for years. I can't say that the pandemic led me to doing it. I'm an EMS pilot, so I'm stuck working anyway. But I finally got it out of the way. Glad I did. I'm just here for the experience. If I were to guess, I would suspect things would improve in the ham radio world. It'd be a great hobby for those that are stuck at home due to the pandemic, but that's just a guess on my part. Unfortunately, I'm just using an iPad and the Echo Link for now until I get better educated on the hobby before I get some equipment, but it's certainly good to get started. Out.
Well, thank you very much for joining us there, Jamie. Welcome to the hobby. You'll find it very interesting to talk to people all over the world. And and you're coming in very clear. You have a good microphone at least. I assume you're using Echolink. Okay, Barry, VE3WBF, over to you. Has the pandemic changed amateur radio for better or for worse, or not really very much at all?
Victor Alpha 3 GDZ, this is Victor Echo 3 WBF. Nothing new, very little is happening here. I get my COVID vaccine shot on Thursday, I'm scheduled for that. And other than that, nothing out of the ordinary. I couldn't tell you if COVID has changed amateur radio or not, but I do know that some of my friends are interested in the hobby anyways. Whether they go through with it is debatable. Anyways, back to you. This is VE3WBF. Over.
Okay there, Barry. Thank you for checking in. You didn't sound like you had a strong opinion one way or the other, or you didn't have too much information on what has changed. Getting a variety of opinions here. I'll try to summarize it at the end. Okay, Phil, you were in there. VA3QWE, I believe that was. Over to you, Phil.
Thank you, Net Control. The pandemic, I guess, one silver lining, it has been beneficial to the ham radio profession, or at least to me personally. After a very, very long hiatus, I got licensed a very long time ago and was never really active. I got myself a little HT about a month ago, and I'm working on getting myself active in the hobby. So for me personally, it's been very beneficial. I'm not sure if there's a really cause and effect. You've made me think about why I got back into this, whether it had to do with the pandemic, and I assume it has, because I had a lot more alone time at home to think about things like this. So I would say overall it's been beneficial. VA3QWE, back to Control Net.
Thank you, Phil. You're down as a beneficial. Thanks for that input. That's what we're fishing for. Didn't catch the first part, but I got the last part. MSC Colin. Over to you, sir. This is VA3 Golf Delta Zulu. Gary in Toronto.
Good evening, Gary, and everybody on net. I hope everybody's doing great, whether you're going to call it a night or you're just getting your day started. Tough question. I think the beneficial side has been helping people reconnect with old friends. I know I've done that a fair bit over radio, which has been good. And I think the downside is there's a big shortage of all things electronic. Circuit boards, capacitors, transistors, gate arrays, processors, RAM, you name it. And I think that's going to have a big impact over the next couple years. So if you've got equipment, dust it off, get it working, and then you'll be back on the air with the rest of us. So that's all I got for you tonight. Thanks for hosting the net. Unfortunately, I can't stick around for a second round, but I will listen for a while. 7-3, VE3MIS.
Thank you there, Colin. That's what I was fishing for. There's pros and cons, aren't there? You get to connect with a lot of people, especially when you're locked down and can't do it in person. But then shortage of circuits and equipment, that was certainly a case. So thank you for mentioning that. Okay, I got BDY Barlow, I believe it was. I hope I got that right. Go ahead.
VA3 GDZ, VA3 BDY Barlow. Yeah, I'm located in Brampton. I think because of the pandemic, being a new ham, I got my license last year. There is a lot of contacts I've been making this year, and because I've had really no one to show me how to do it, and buying the radios and doing it. Hold on a second, drop. I've made all kinds kinds of contacts with different operators, so it's been pretty good.
Okay, Barlow, thank you for that. I guess I'll add my 2 cents now to the list too. Overall, I think it's been beneficial because it's provided opportunity to become a ham radio operator and to not have any excuses, somewhat similar to what Mike and Jamie were saying. But I tell you, I really do miss not meeting with people for field days or corn roasts or ham fests or visiting people in their shack. So it should really be beneficial to someone like myself. Well, thank you all for your opinion. I think we do have time for a short 7-3 round. If you have any comments on what you've heard or what the other people have said, overall I've got a few neutrals, but most people say it has been beneficial. But then let's think ahead here. Once things get back to normal, will we carry the beneficial part through with us? Head back to the top now, and I will allow for other check-ins once we get through the 7-3 round. Kevin, KKY, anything to say?
Nothing, just that I hope that everything came through, because when I unkeyed, there was the DX station on, and so I couldn't tell what you heard. I just kind of, it was disoriented me, and so I had text on the screen about it. And I heard John say something about 1 minute, maybe warning me about the 1 minute timer. So that's about that. No, I said all I needed to. The pandemic, for the most part, and a huge part, isn't bothering me. It could be worse. Could be worse. It could be way worse. So anyways, I'll let you roll. I know you got lots of people, and we'll be on the screen, as you can see. So VA3 KKY, back to net. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Kevin, you hang in there. John, it's HJQ. Are you still there, VK3HJQ? Any comments on what you've heard? Or say 7-3s if you'd like.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Thanks for running the net. And g'day to Mr. Squirrel there, Mike. Mr. Squirrel jokes, Mike. Oh, boy. Yeah, no, I think obviously it's been good for amateur radio. It's been probably one upside to all the downside that's been happening. So thanks for running the net, Gary. Great job. And back to net. Catch HJQ.
And thank you very much, John, for connecting in with the ham group and also the Dewdrop In people. It really adds to the value of the net. Thank you, and the interest that people have. I still have RYL. I didn't get the first few. From Bangkok, I don't know if he's hung in there, but we'll give him one more chance. RYL from Bangkok, do you have anything that you'd like to say to them? Nothing heard. Well, he did get in there about 3 or 4 times at the beginning of the net. Oh, boy. Alan, VA3AH, over to you.
USL. I have no other traffic for the net. Thanks for running the net. 7-3, and God bless. Victor Alpha 3 Alpha Hotel.
Okay, Alan, thank you for joining us. Robert, if you're still there, VK2DY, over to you.
VK2DY here. You asked at the end there whether I thought this would last after the pandemic passes. And I think some of it will last. I think a good deal of it will not. Ham clubs here in Australia are awfully small. We've got probably in the 25 to 50 range of members. So they probably don't have the resources to continue much of the off Zoom meetings and that after the pandemic finishes. But we shall see. I think some of it will be lasting. I think a lot of the activities that do take place in places that have larger ham populations probably will continue. So I think we're looking at a different world here. Anyway, other than that, I haven't had any getting supplies. I've had no problems at all. In fact, the Chinese seem to be able to deliver faster now than they were before the pandemic. So I'll order something from China and it'll be here in a few days or a week. So I haven't noticed any supply issues here in Sydney. But at any rate, thank you very much for running a wonderful net. I really appreciate it. And 73. VK2DY.
Thank you, Robert, and we really appreciate your contributions every time. You always got something interesting to share. Yeah, I heard the Chinese don't like Australians these days. I better not say that. That's a political comment. Hi. Oh, boy. Yeah, we're having some issues as well here in Canada, but that's off topic. Where was I? Oh, Reg, if you're still there, VK6, BQQ, any comments on what you've heard? Reg might have left. Brian, VE3XBH.
VA3GDZ, VE3XBH. Well, first of all, Gary, thanks for doing the net. I don't really have much other traffic other than let's at least hope that those who may have either rediscovered the hobby or gotten into the hobby due to the pandemic. Let's hope that once it's over, they continue. And it's always nice to hear new people on the air, and let's hope that sparks an interest. And there's so many different things that you can do to, in the hobby. You can always find something of interest. So anyways, that's about it from me, Gary. I'll say 7-3 to everybody. Hope everybody stays well, and I'll send it back to you, VA3GDZ from VE3XBH.
Thank you for joining us, Brian. Yeah, that is one of the challenges, is sustaining it. Robert, just a few minutes ago, didn't quite think that it might continue. We can hope that it does. The momentum is there, and the new hams stick with it. But that's one of the things people may want to comment on. You've heard what other people have had to say. Overall, I've got 10 people saying it's been a positive for the hobby, but about 4 think neutral. Going forward, can we sustain it? That's the question, too. Hey, Brian, VA3AZA, any final comments for the net?
VA3GDZ, VA3AZA. Gary, no, not. I'm probably in agreement with Robert there that there'll be some small residual gain from probably kind of a high watermark there during the pandemic. But I kind of wonder. I always wondered about other things beyond ham radio too that may have changed because of the pandemic. I know for myself, oh my goodness, just not driving has. Fortunately, I was able to work from home. A lot of people weren't, but I was able to work from home, and not driving made a big change in my life, also in my bank account. But probably I'll go for a small residual persisting change. But thanks again for doing the net. It was a pleasure to hear from you. A very interesting topic, and I'll pass it back to you. VA3AZA over to VA3GTZ.
Thank you there, Brian. It's nice to hear from someone with a healthy bank account. Hi. I have to admit, I haven't been using the car very much. I haven't been using gas very much. My insurance company, though, still wants the same amount from me, the bums. Okay, Mark, VA3HES, any final comment?
VA3GZZ, VA3HES. Well, I do know one thing. When the pandemic's over, we have ham fest. First one I go to is probably going to burn a hole through my pocket. Hi. But so I just want to send a special 7-3 to Lawrence, PE YouTube and in the live chat. And don't forget, you can check out our Tuesday Night Nets on our VE3MIS YouTube channel. Otherwise, 7-3 everyone, and back to you.
Thank you there, Mark, and thank you for having the YouTube up there and for acknowledging the people that are in the chat. That's really good, and I think that'll help encourage people to come in and listen in and add a few comments. I guess once I close down the net, I'll have to go there and read the chat and see if they've added any nasty comments about the net tonight. Hi. Okay, very good. Where are we? Uwe, are you still with us? VE3TGL, any final comments?
VE3 GDZ, I think it was. Gary, VE3 Tango Golf Lima here. Oh, yeah. No, 73 guys, and have a great night. Yeah, there's a lot of new hams out there, a lot of people, and there's tons of activities, whether you want to jump on FT8 or just yell out on HF or talk to anybody on DMR or Fusion or D-Star, man, there's lots of stuff to do out there these days. And there's no shortage either. You could be on a net all night long, every day of the week, pretty much. And so, it's hard to decide which net to jump on and which people you want to hang out with and what aspect you want to play around with. Anyways, yeah, a lot of people out there. I'm sure a few of them will stick around. It's probably a good thing for the hobby. And that's about it from Victor Echo 3 Tango Golf Lima here, south of Etobicoke. Back to net control. We'll catch you on the next net. VE3TGL. 73s all. Have a great night.
Uwe, yeah, it is certainly something fun and interesting to do, especially if you're locked down. And my wife likes it too. It keeps me out of her hair. She sees me down in the room where my little shack is, and she can close the door and do her thing, and I can do my thing. So it adds to marital harmony to some extent. But again, I'm getting off topic. Maybe that's a topic for another net. Hi. Okay, we have a couple of Dakotans here. We really appreciate you guys joining us. Mike, any final comments for the net?
Yeah, thanks, Gary. And the other station there in central North Dakota, when you come back in, let me know what county you're in, please. Gary, as far as whether it's been good or bad, I suppose I'm mostly neutral on that, except I will say that if anybody has gotten their ticket in order to get on ham radio because they were quarantined or bored at home and couldn't go to work, that's certainly a good thing. I have never talked to anybody that specifically got their license because of COVID and they were at home. There may be some, I just don't know them. I think a lot of the new hams are coming in because of the great number of new modes that are becoming available, and their friends are telling them about it, and I think those folks are here to stay. I'm glad to see the numbers climbing, and personally I believe they'll continue to climb. I think that's about it from Northwest North Dakota. Nice job on the net control. Look forward to getting in next time. KM4OOC.
Oh, thank you very much there, Mike. Some very thoughtful input. And you said you haven't met anyone. Well, you have now. You got my call sign, VA3 Golf Delta Zulu. Yeah. It finally gave me the opportunity, once a lot of other things were canceled, to get the ticket last June, I think it was. And all the digital nets, modes, were fascinating to me, including Echolink. I still think Echolink's terrific. You should see my long list of nets that I've accumulated in the past few months. My goodness. Okay, Mike, over. No, that was Mike. Jamie, over to you. Mike wants to know what county you're in, and welcome to the hobby. Hope you're finding it interesting and fun. Over to you, Jim.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry. Mike, I'm in Pierce County, Rugby area. a couple of comments from my very brief experience. This is actually the first day I've even transmitted. This is probably only the fourth time today for my brief ham career. But had I known this Echo Link existed prior, I probably would have done this even earlier. This is a very handy tool, especially for someone like me. I don't have any equipment, and I really want to get some hands-on equipment. But in the interim, as I'm learning the hobby, this Echo Link is going to work really well. I think I'm really going to enjoy it. I certainly hope the hobby continues to grow. I'm looking forward to enjoying it. Down back to net, Kilo Fox 0, Echo Mike Zulu.
Well, thanks for joining us, Jamie. You got a great microphone, by the way. Yeah, it is amazing, and there are just so many things you can do. If you send me go to my QRZ page, I can send you a list of nets that I've accumulated. Anyways, I think I see Reg said he's back. I'm not sure if he wants to say anything or not. Let me pause here and see if Reg wants to VK6BQQ. Did you have anything else to add, Reg?
VA3 Golf Delta Zulu with the net VK6BQQ. Well, I see it continuing. I know for my nets, we have quite a number of folks that are new, just got their license, just got on the air, and other folks got some equipment and come back after 20 or 30 years. So I see it continuing, I hope. Anyway, for the new ones out there, QRZ.com, VK6BQQ, you'll see a website on there. Do drop in, and Friday nights at 8 o'clock or 0 hours UTC, I believe it is. Drop into the Friday night tech net. We have a flying pig net. We roll it all into one for check-ins and comments and all that good stuff. So if you get a chance, do join us on a Friday evening Eastern Standard, 8 o'clock p.m. And thanks for doing the net, Gary. Fantastic job, sir. Keep up the good work, and I'm sure amateur radio is very much alive.
Well, thank you there, Reg, for the positive feedback. And yeah, if any of you guys haven't gotten Reg's net, it's a blast. There's people from all over the world. Your only task is finding a way to get in there. He starts flying pigs. That's his net after the first hour. So depending on whether you're an aviation fan, you got to get in there. Okay, Phil, VA3 QWE. Any final comments for the net? Nothing heard from Phil. How about Barlow, VA3 BDY in Brampton there? Any final comments?
So, VA3 QWE. Right. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, it's been a positive experience for me getting back to ham radio, and I wish everybody a good week. And 7-3 VA3 QWE.
Okay, we got Phil in there a little bit late. Thank you, Phil. Barlow, are you still there? VA3 BDY.
VA3 GDZ, VA3 BDY. Yeah, I think it's going to continue for the younger hams. The older hams will probably get together and socialize more, but for us new hams in on the amateur radio, there's so many different modes out there, and it's all new and it's so exciting, you know what I mean? So 7-3 VA3 BDY control.
Yeah, okay, Barlow. Thank you. So I'll see if there's anybody else who's been listening in and wants to check in and make a few comments before we wrap it up for this evening. Any other check-ins, either on Echo Link or from RF to the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net? Okay. Nothing heard. I'll stick around for a few minutes after the net. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Some very good insights and some good comments as we leave 2020 behind and don't think about it again. And we'll see if we can sustain some momentum into the new year once things get back to normal. If you have any comments, thoughts, or suggestions, you can contact us for Club Matters via email at VE3MIS@RAC.ca. That's Victor Echo 3, Mike India Sierra at Romeo Alpha Charlie Alpha. Or some feedback or suggestions for me, you can use my email, which is on my QRZ page. This is Gary, Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu, closing the net and returning the repeater to general use. Thank you all once again for your participation. 7-3 to all. Be safe until next week.
VA3GDZ, VA3A today. Just to have a little announcement there, Gary. Can I give that over to you?
Please go ahead there, Brian.
Gary, sorry I didn't get this earlier. I wasn't sure whether it was ready yet. But for the members of the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club who are interested in having system fusion equipment, in other words, C4FM Yaesu radio, there is a supplier in the Toronto area who is interested in offering a discount. You probably know who that is, and that has been arranged with the club. It's just a matter of informing that supplier that you're from the club, and you should be able to get a discount on some of the C4FM radios. There are about 4 of them listed here, I think, that are eligible for a discount. But we'll probably have more information about that at the general meetings as well next week. Over to you.
Yeah, Brian, I saw that on the Club IO groups, the Groups IO site. And yeah, there's not that much for fusion people, so I think this is going to be a big addition for the Greater Toronto area. Okay, we'll be in touch later on. I'll see if anybody else has any residual comments or wants to say something. We're back to regular repeater use here, and I see people that are saying 7-3s on Echolink as well. really good, really good. Thank you for coming to me on the radio. Have a good night, and thank you, Mark. Bye now.